When you want to maximize your chances of winning, which hero do you want to play? Welcome to Boards and Swords. My name is Chris Renshaw, and today we are doing another solo deck playthrough, testing out one of the many heroes that's been released. Focusing on today, the Scarlet Witch. So let's jump right in. All right, so I've got everything all set up. I just need to, I'm gonna give the deck one last shuffle here. And then 6 cards, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. All right, now I've already technically played this once against other people, but I haven't played it solo yet. So to start off, we have Wanda Maximoff and her hero or alter ego mode, 3 recovery, superpowered siblings. Action, discard 2 cards from your hand, draw 2 cards, draw 3 cards instead if Pietro Maximoff is in play. Limit once per round. So obviously that's not going to be in play, at least yet. And again, like I've been doing, I'm going to keep the cards in my hand. I'm not going to discard them or do any sort of mulligan, just to get a raw feel for the pre-con deck we have here. If we look at her hero side, 2/1/2. Chaos Control, when boost icons on an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count the number of boost icons on that card instead. So that can kind of save you if you went oopsie and you end up drawing the 3 card. So, all right, what do we have here? So in my hand, I have Swift Retribution, Villain Schemes, deal 4 damage to the villain, Power of Justice, Hex Bolt, which this is one of the cooler cards in her deck. Discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck for each card discarded this way that has boost icons equal to 0, 1, or 2, or 3. It'll do a different thing, like deal damage to an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw a card, place a status token. I got 2 of those. I drew Speed, which is a 2/1 ally. After Speed thwarts, ready him. And Magic Shield. When a friendly character would take any amount of damage, discard Magic Shield to prevent 3 of that damage. So, let's see. What am I going to do in this circumstance? I'm not going to use Wanda's ability here because that's almost like a mulligan, and it would be better off if Pietro's in here so that I was getting a bonus card. I could play Speed for only 3 by using Power of Justice. So it seems like Hex Bolting might be the best way to go. So I guess we're just going to kind of go on the aggressive here. Although scheming and then dealing 4 damage, that might be helpful. But 4 threat, that's our 4 force. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna use the Power of Justice for nothing, but just play Swift Retribution. The villain schemes, so he's gonna scheme for 3. And so put 3 on the board, but that's gonna deal 4 damage to the villain. Go ahead and get that out of the way. But that kind of primes the pump for a Hex Bolt. So I'm going to discard the ally and Magic Shield to throw down a Hex Bolt, discard top 3 cards of the encounter deck. So for each card discarded this way, that boost icons equal to, so we have 2, 2, and 1. All right, so the 1 is going to remove 2 threat from a scheme, so that kind of negates that. The 2 is going to draw a card, and then another 2, we're going to draw another card. These Hex Bolts are great. And then we have, I'll do this. Spiritual Meditation. Play if your identity has the Mystic trait. Draw 2 cards, choose and discard 1 card from your hand. So, I got another Swift Retribution, which could be handy, but no. I'm going to discard the Swift Retribution because I'm actually going to discard the other 2 cards I got. I'm going to do another Hex Bolt here because that's just too good not to do right now. So 3 cards of the encounter deck here. So this 0 is going to deal 2 damage to the enemy. This is going to let me draw a card and draw a card. Might as well keep this going. Sure, let's draw even more cards. Draw 2 cards and then discard a card from hand. All right, fine. Let's just... So Chaos Magic. Play a card from your hand, ignoring its resource cost. Discard cards from the encounter deck equal to that card's printed resource cost. So we're going to do Molecular Decay. And so 1, 2, 3. This is going to burn through the deck real fast. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. So boom, boom. He's already down to 3. And discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. For each boost icon discarded this way, there is a 0. But I'm going to use, for one of these, I'm going to use my interrupt and discard another one instead. So 1. So what happened there is I discarded 2 cards for the encounter deck. For each boost icon discarded, deal 1 additional damage to an enemy. I drew 2 blanks. So instead of taking those 2 blanks, once per turn, I can use her ability to discard another card instead and use that card. So that's what I ended up doing. And then I still have 1 card here, but I also haven't even done anything with my actual stuff here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swing for 1 on there. And then that'll be the end of my turn. I draw back up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, ooh, I got the actual Quicksilver. Turn the Tide, which lets me thwart and remove all threat from a scheme. Deal 3, when I do, deal 3 damage to an enemy. Genius. Crisis Averted, remove 6 threat from main scheme. And Order and Chaos is what I already had. So then ready this up. This now flips to 2. And then Rhino is going to attack. So I'm at 10, so I'm just going to straight up take it right now. And I drew the charge. So I take 4 damage, putting me at 6. And then encounter card time. The villain schemes. So he schemes for an additional 1 or 2. So 2 more damage, or excuse me, 2 more threat on there. So we have 4 threat on the scheme. And then it's back to me. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use Genius and discard Order and Chaos. For Crisis Averted, remove 6 threat from the main scheme. I don't need to worry about the what I paid it with. And then be in response after your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Let's just say I hit first for that one. And to drop Rhino to... We're going to rewind there. Let's say I drop Rhino to phase 2 and then go ahead and fill him up. So that'll put him at, because I'll deal 3 damage to him, and that'll put him already down to 12. All right. And then I'm going to flip. Yeah, so I don't do more damage to myself. I've also got Quicksilver in my hand, so getting more cards and everything will be helpful. So. All right, I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards up here. So we got another Turn the Tide, Agatha Harkness, Magic Shield, Scarlet Witch's Crest, and Multitasking. All right, and this is gonna go up by 1. He's going to scheme for 1 plus, so 3 scheme total. All right, and then encounter card time. Hard to keep down. Rhino heals 4 damage. So that last attack didn't do anything. No damage was healed this way. This card gains Surge, but that was overall fairly light in the grand scheme of things. Oof. I have a hand where I kind of want to... I'm actually going to discard Quicksilver because it's going to help me out more to play Agatha Harkness, who lets me look at the top 3 cards, add 1 to my hand, place the bottom of my deck in any order. I'm in alter ego form, so let's go ahead and do that. So 1, 2, 3. So I got a Strength and 2 Hex Bolts. Now I kind of want to grab the Hex Bolts, but the Strength is kind of nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to grab the Hex Bolt. I don't want to, but... All right, and then I'm going to actually use her ability to discard 2 and hope that I can get maybe some resource. Ah, yes, an energy card. That will definitely come in handy. So I'm going to play the energy card to get Scarlet Witch's Crest, which allows me to increase or decrease boost icons by 1 for this count. So that will come in handy. And then we are going to... Let's go ahead and flip to the Witch. I'm going to thwart to just drop this down a little bit. And then I'm going to discard these other 2 cards to play another Hex Bolt. 3 cards from the encounter deck. So we have a 2, a 3, and a 1. So the 3+ is going to place a status card. So let's resolve the... Let's resolve the 1. To move to threat from a scheme, and then I got my obligations, so that's good. Let's place a status on a character. So let's make him stunned, or let's just make me tough. Same thing. And then I'm going to use her power actually to redraw for this. And I got a 1. I'm going to exhaust this to drop. I want this to drop to 0 so I can deal 2 damage to Rhino instead. And do that. So now we're in a little bit of a better place-ish. Draw up to 5. Almost out of the deck. Another Molecular Decay will be coming up. So this goes up to 1. He hits me, so tough goes away. And then encounter card, give Rhino a tough. All right, I just had it. Where did it go? Rhino becomes tough. Back to me. So a lot of the same cards we already had. Removing threat, gaining a thwart, schemes deal 4 damage to the villain. But the Molecular Decay I kind of really want to do, so I'm going to hang on to the Swift Retribution, and we'll discard the rest of these. For Molecular Decay, 5 damage to an enemy, so... 5 damage to an enemy, discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. All right, for each boost icon discarded this way, deal 1 additional damage to the enemy. So we got 3. I'm going to boost this up to a 4 and drop him down to just 4 left. Nice. So worst case, if I just had 1 resource, I could kill him off. Dang. I don't think I can do it. All right, so this all resets. I get 4 cards, which includes another molecular decay. This flips to 2. Wait, was that an attack? Oh, that was an attack. Ah, he had a tough icon. So I would have attacked him once to remove the tough, and then done the molecular decay is how that should have gone. All right. I'm actually going to defend against this attack this time. So 3, just straight up 3, so I block 2 of it, so I'm down to 5. And then I get Shocker, deal 1 damage to each hero, so I'm down to 4. Don't think that's gonna matter. Yeah, because I'm just gonna chump 3 cards to throw another molecular decay and finish off Rhino 2. There we go. That's Scarlet Witch's deck. So Scarlet Witch, I like Scarlet Witch in the same reason I like Black Widow, in the kind of like managing the chaos of the game, where the game's like, gotcha, and you're like, not quite. All right, I'm gonna do this other thing instead. I do gotta say that that is the most cards that I think we've done in one of these solo games. So like, yeah, there was only a handful of cards left, and in both decks. So something to keep in mind with her is that you got to be a little bit aggressive. Otherwise, you're just going to ramp up your acceleration tokens and getting extra cards. So that's something to be aware of. Even without having Quicksilver out on the table, it was still kind of nice. It was definitely a pretty cool deck. I just like the probability management, and it definitely, like I say in a lot of these, it captures that feel. Definitely feels pretty good on the solo side. It's another deck that seems fairly balanced-ish, especially with the Justice, kind of helps in that regard. I will kind of say, without those molecular decays and those hex bolts, you could be a little rough. So it's one of those that making sure you get those spread out, because I've seen hands where you get like all of those in hand, like when I played it before. That can be kind of rough because you're having to discard them all for one, and then you got to cycle them through to get them. So that could be an issue. But overall, it's just another great addition to the game. Like I said, I played it once when we were doing a campaign, or starting the what's it called? Rise of the Red Skull campaign. It didn't work out. We were playing with mostly pre-con decks though, and everybody was testing new stuff. But then I saw someone use a constructed Scarlet Witch deck, and that was just crazy sauce. So there you go. Let me know what you think about the Scarlet Witch deck. Let me know what other decks and what other combinations should I do coming up. If you've got any feedback, leave those down in the comments as well. As always, make sure to follow me on social media. And did you know that if you like and subscribe to this video, you get 1 free adjustment to your boost icons, up or down, depending on what you need. You didn't know that? It's in the terms of service. Don't go read it for yourself. It's really hard to find. So in the meantime, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.